Hello, everybody, and welcome to this very interesting session of webinar Digitalization Driving the Industry Ahead. Before we move on to this session, I would like to give a small introduction about 12th Asian Metallurgy. I think most of you know it, but still, for those who have not joined or who have not tuned with us earlier, Asian Metallurgy is basically a ground show which was started in 1997, and it used to be done at Nehru Center and later on Bombay Exhibition Center, Goregaon. Since COVID, we have transformed this show into digital show, and 2021 December we did this show for the first time on digital platform, and encouraged by the results and the support from the industry, we did it in 2022, still better result, and this time also we are doing it with the support of the industry and the all the associations related to metallurgical industry. The first year, 2021, we reached to around 5.5 lakh visitors and not visitor viewers, I would say. In 2022, we reached to around 7.5 viewers, and this show is expected to reach to around 1 million viewers all around the globe. So this is the power of digitalization. So this is the subject of today's webinar, which is digitalization. So now coming to this subject of digitalization, what we, of course, COVID was a very bad and very dark experience in everybody's life. But there is something good about COVID, and that good is it has taught us how to use digitalization for our life, how to use digitalization to our in our industries. So I think that is one I think learning which we have taken from COVID. I think industry has also taken. And to discuss digitalization, we have been talking about digitalization. So I have many questions. I have questions like: Is it more talk than practiced? Is it a hype? Does digitalization really help us? So these are some of the questions which I have. And for that, to answer these questions and tell us more about digitalization in detail, what is digitalization, how it can be implemented, why it has to be implemented, what results we can expect from digitalization, and who can do it, how they can do it. All these questions we have, and for to answer these questions, I have few experts here, and I would like to introduce them. First, I would like to introduce Mr. Mike Hedderman. Hello, Mr. Mike. Mr.
Hello.
Mike is Area Sales Manager of EMG Automation GmbH. Is a metal industry professional having experience of more than 40 years in the sales and service of variety of applications in flat steel gauging. He has worked extensively in various global markets, including China and India. Those are the biggest markets. He is based in Gloucester, UK, supporting our gauging facility in Germany. So welcome, Mr. Mike, and thanks for sparing your time for this interesting webinar.
No problem at all.
We have Mr. Abhimanyu Raja. Mr. Raja started the career as project engineer from Textool and Voltas Limited, handled few World Bank aided projects as commissioning engineer, co-promoted Genu Technologies with the primary objective of providing portable robotic and remotely operated solutions and services which shall improve safety and productivity in non-conducive work environments and hazardous applications. Welcome, Mr. Raja, and thanks for sparing your time here on this webinar. And we have Mr. Narra Rajesh. Dr. Narra Rajesh has been working in steel industry for many, many years. I think he has done his doctorate in digitalization and metallurgical industries only. He was in Bhilai Steel Plant for some time, worked in some foundries, and now he has, along with his professional associates, has started a startup rather, Ulti-Met Technologies, and he is director technical in that. So they are also implementing this digitalization solutions to the steel and metal industry. Thank you, Mr. Dr. Rajesh, for sparing your time, and welcome to this webinar. And yeah, so first I would like to get a small feel of what these gentlemen are doing. So what they are doing professionally about their products. Let us understand first what are they doing. I would like to start with Mr. Raja. Raja, can you show us some small presentation about your product solutions to the metallurgical industry?
Yeah. 1 minute, I can share.
Yeah, you can share. You can share.
Yeah, share the screen. The screen is visible, sir?
Yes, it is. But let it be very short, because we have a lot of
I'll take a very minimum time only.
Yeah, we have to get time for the discussion.
Yes, yes, yes. See, we are from IIT Bombay. We had started a journey from National Center of Excellence, IIT Bombay. Our main motto is that risk mitigation through robotics, human risk mitigation, particularly in high temperature application areas, hazardous application areas, and wherever there are fumes and other things, right? So this is how this is our eminent board. And we are talking about robot as a tool for improving safety. See, digitalization includes robotics and the data acquisition, right? IIoT along with the robotic things, we call it digitalization. If you see leading companies like PwC and all, no, the digital division is suggesting so many changes in the operation procedures plus the communication of the data from the machinery onto the decision makers and the parameters onto the systems. So we are talking about improving the safety through our robotic systems. These are all robotic, not the standard robots which is available in the market. We exclusively design and manufacture robots for a given industry vertical. Right. See, we are talking about three objectives. One is the safety and sustainability. Another is the capacity utilization and the consistency for the buyer. The third one is that judicial intervention, right? Many areas now, the high temperature areas are the sludge areas, underwater tanks, and the judicial intervention is there that we should not send human beings. So these are all three areas where we are working in, and most of our products are giving solutions to smelter units. I'll just run through. These are all the bath feeders. Now, conventionally, it is being done by a human being, where he opens the doors and a lot of gases come out, and the high temperature temperature comes out, and these people are manually feeding it. Right. I mean, new units are having auto feeders, but manually these people are able to feed it. Now we are giving a remotely operated vehicle for feeding it. So this is one area, smelter area. The other area is that the anodes are getting cleaned manually using a crowbar like steel bars, and they are cleaning the surface of the anodes when the machine is in operation. So there we are giving a remotely operated vehicle which can actually save the human. We can operate it from a distance of 20 to 30 meters, and there will be cameras, everything available. Online data is also available to the management people elsewhere, sitting elsewhere, and many other parameters can be loaded onto that, and we can transfer that. This vehicle is capable of traveling in 300 Gauss, 200 to 300 Gauss magnetic field, which is very difficult and technically a challenging job to get an insulation for that kind of magnetic flux, and also the temperature and the resistance of all these things. Okay. Another thing is the doses in the high temperature part areas, where we have the insulation material for the entire robots, which can be operated from outside. This is one tricky application. So these are all the areas that we are giving for aluminum industry. We see some of the electrodes maintenance happens in the, in a 4-meter level or a 5-meter level, where the operator is at a risk. Now we are given one ROV, remotely operated vehicle, where it is also again exclusively designed for this application. So another solution what we are giving is the caster solutions, where the slack removal is being done manually today under high risk conditions. So we are giving some robotic applications there where the slack can be removed. We can program the speed in accordance with the speed of the process. So this is one area. You can see the schematic representation of this. This is already, all this whatever I'm talking are already in the field. It is not in the theoretical stage. We are already deployed it. So that way, what happens? We save the humans from directly getting exposed is one. Another thing is that we save a lot of energy by that way. When the carbon electrodes are getting cleaned up frequently, then we consume lesser power. So though the data, this is just new machines. So when the data is compiled, we are sure that in the long run, we will contribute a lot in energy saving and carbon emissions. Okay. These are the lounder applications where the molten metal is being pushed presently by a manual operation, right? The flow of the molten aluminum is being ensured by the physical pushing. Now we are given one remotely operated system for that. So this is a lounder this thing. We are actually exporting to some European country also this one. So in the same way, we talk about steel industry. If you see the furnaces like Corex furnace and all, when after 1500 degrees of operation, this is brought down to a normalcy of around 200 to 300 degrees, where the human being goes in and he's cleaning the bristle holes in a given silo or a vessel, reactor vessel. So it is directly he's poking using a poker and removing the bristles. I mean the chokes there in the bristle hole. So what happens? Directly the flame or the ash, which is at 200, 300 degree, comes onto the human being directly. So now that is a risky operation being done. Even today, it is being done like that only. So we have given a design for this. It is under manufacture. So wherein there will be a telescopic arm which will go through the bristles. We can operate it from outside the furnace. So these are all some of the areas when we talk about digitalization. We talk about one is an industry 4.0. Another, as I told, it is a ESG compliance also, because we have to save the humans from the gases and reduce the gas emissions. So these are all certain areas. And since time is short, and another thing what we have done is that this in a global patent already we have got through the Indian patent. It's a hydraulic vessel. This is a hydraulic crawler, totally operating hydraulically for some sensitive chemical zones and petrochemical zones. So we can send this vehicle underwater and it removes the total sludge in the bottom of any process tank or the effluent tank, and it sucks it out in in situ conditions. So there is no need to vacate the water and no need to send a human being, because some of the the processed liquid after finishing the metals are very dangerous in nature or hazardous in nature. So sludge settled in the bottom of the tank is being now cleaned manually after draining out the total water, which is normally takes a long time, and there is a plant shutdown also. So we are saving the plant shutdown. Also, we are saving the humans from entering into that. So these are all the part of digital initiative, what we feel, right? The same way the pipeline cleaning, if you see the chokes in the bottom pipe, if you see that, the chokes are like this. Many of the pipes, industrial pipes will be like this, though externally we don't see that. But internally, if you see some of the acid pipes and other things, they don't have even effective 40% area for the liquid to flow through. So in these areas, we give some crawlers like what you see that which will literally burrow through that, and we are able to clean the pipelines from a remote operations. So these are all certain digital initiatives we have taken. So this is just up to us. I mean, this is about us. Now I'm open for questions, or we can go with the other panelists. Then we can come back.
Thank you, Mr. Raja.
Thank you, sir.
Now we move on to Mr. Mike. Mr. Mike, you want to show us some slides?
Yes, please. Just a
Be
couple
very short. Be very
yes,
short
I'll
and
be very short. Okay, so
precise. Okay.
hopefully you can see my screen.
Not now. You share the screen.
Oh, share the screen. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So very briefly, I work for EMG Automation, working for the gauging part, working for non-contact thickness measurement equipment, which we produce in Dresden, in Germany. We've been making it for over 60 years, and we cover all aspects of the rolling process. So from hot rolling, we can provide triple point measurement or single point measurement for the hot mills. And with extra equipment, we can provide width measurement, length and speed, and temperature. which is fed back. We provide the thickness measurement back to the mill control system so that the thickness and thickness of the material can be controlled directly. We also provide systems for cold rolling lines, both single stand and multi-stand lines, and also for finishing lines, cutting, slitting, and processing lines like coating lines and this kind of thing. We can provide single channel or triple channel systems, and we use X-ray, isotope, and laser technologies. We have been, as mentioned, we've been doing this for over 60 years. Previously, everything was very analog based. In recent years, a lot of things have been switched to digital platforms. Within our measurement, when we are measuring the material, our detectors digitize our signals before they are passed back for processing. And this means that by using a digital signal, we're not influenced by electrical interference from mill motors and other interference. And this is one way that digitalization has really helped us with our systems. So as mentioned, we provide for all aspects of the rolling industries, for steel, for aluminium, and also for non-ferrous, for copper and brass applications. We can do some non-metals, but we're more focused on the metals and for flat sheet rolling applications. So as mentioned, hot rolling, cold rolling, foil mill applications, aluminium foil, and finishing and coating lines. So we measure from very thick material, maybe up to about 80 millimeters of steel, down to 5 or 4 microns of aluminium. So we do a very wide range using X-ray, isotope, and laser. I won't go into any more detail about the systems as such at the moment, but if anyone has any questions about them, I'm very happy to answer. Okay, so okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike. And we move on to Dr. Rajesh. Dr. Rajesh, you want to show something or talk?
No, sir, I don't have any presentations to show. We'll discuss on the digitalization aspects in the Indian steel industry and Indian metals industry.
Yeah.
Overall, the evolutionary phase of what it is going through. So, as we move on, so as far as the metals industry is concerned, metals, we moved from SAP implementation of SAP systems like ERP systems inside the plant to the correct digitalization drive. That is like connecting all the systems, all the furnaces, all the equipment, and we made into a comprehensive system called IMAP, what we have prepared in the initial phase. This was in the year 2017. So if you see the developmental aspects, what we had taken, we started transforming from a small the physical system to digitalization, to online systems to digitalization, completely in the net. So the initial phase, what we had chosen, we evolved over a period of time. Like in 2000 to 2010, the first 10 years it goes for with the machine learning, the prediction and optimization algorithm.
Yeah.
And from 2010 to 2020, if you talk about, it is like deep learning. The vision-based systems came into the picture. 2020 and later on, we are moving towards the generative artificial intelligence, generative artificial GenAI, which is like commonly known as like what we are seeing is ChatGPT, Bard, and the Gemini. All these are like these are the evolutionary phases which is happening. So to implement these systems into the industry, what Ulti-Met wants to do, we at Ulti-Met are integrating data-driven digitalization drives. We are taking care about industrial Internet of Things. We are taking care about AR, VR systems. like augmented reality or virtual reality. So our company, Ulti-Met Technologies, is a technology integrator, basically. And we have devised one product called Ulti-Met iMap, which is going to take care about the innovation, maintenance, administration, and production aspects of the steel plant, or for that matter, for entire metal industry. This is in a nutshell about all the product above.
Okay. Yeah. So, so now that Mr. Raja, are you there? I don't.
Yeah, yes, sir. I'm available. Amen.
Yeah. Please, yeah. Put on your this thing, your
Yeah.
video. Okay. So now that we know something about all these gentlemen, Mr. Mike, Mr. Raja, and Dr. Rajesh, what they are doing, how they are contributing to the process of digitalization in the steel and metals industry. Uh, 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 this is my general observation that a lot of people talk about digitalization, but still industry is not fully convinced. I would like to have your perspective, your experiences on this. We'll have 2 3 points, one after another. So on this point, I would like to have your opinion and your experiences, and maybe Mr. Mike can share his experience in European countries as well, so that we know where we stand vis-a-vis the other countries. That people talk about digitalization, but when it actually comes to the implementation, not many people come forward, and they that means they still have lot of questions, lot of confusion, a lot of apprehension towards the process of digitalization. And what has been your experience? I want to ask you this, Mr. Starting with Mr. Raja.
Yeah. I'll share some experience, sir. The basic thing is this adoption of automation, right? Adoption of digitalization needs a lot of counseling and the understanding from the middle management.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes it is depending on the companies. No, sometimes the budgetary allocations are based on the return of investments. Okay.
Yeah.
It is a conventional practice. So when we are talking about the allocation based on the return on investments, we cannot expect or establish a return on investment for safety aspect. Right. At the same time, we have to convince the top management for allocation of the money. Right. So we see that there is a tendency to compare this with the routine commercial automation. So digitalization in safety areas, particularly we are talking about hot metal handling. If you see, most of the plants are at least 30, 40 years old, and their material handling equipments were designed, 3, 4 decades back. Now ROVs are there. Now so many equipments are there. Just in and just out, we can manage things from one department to another. So a lot of things are to be done. And happy to note that some of the leading companies like Hindalco, they are taking a lot of initiative. In fact, we are supported by many such initiatives. And we jointly develop products, because joint development of products, sometimes we miss the assessment of the cost. They support us because the iteration cost is involved. We may not be able to factor in that. So a lot of things are there. That is one. Another is the implementation part. One is the adoption. I was talking about 3 points. Point number 1 is the attitude of adoption. 2 is the funding, right? The finances towards that. Trying to establish return on investment on safety perspective also. The third is the implementation schedules. The implementation schedule is again, bogged up with the existing production activities. Without stopping, without holding, they want to implement new things. It's like doing a surgery on a running man, right? You can't do a change, you can't do heart surgery on a person who is already running in the ground, right? So that is one area where I think the management has to decide. So these are all 3 areas, macro level I can factor in. The rest we'll discuss with the panelists, then we can come to some other points. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. What is your experience, Dr. Rajesh?
Yes, sir. Initial phases, as Raja said, that resistance is there. But to me, rather than the middle management, it is the top management. It used to be top-driven approach. the digitalization drive should be driven from the top. So if the top management feels that, yes, it is to be implemented, it's always be there. Yeah. As far as ROI is concerned, yes, definitely. We are still having that mindset, what is the ROI coming out of that? But as we are making ourselves as a developed nation, and the cost of manpower is also increasing day by day. So at one point of time, and at least with this evolutionary phases in the last 2 to 3 decades, we have seen that the benefit, the cost of maybe in 2000, if we take the same proposal and ask them to do the digitalization drive across the industry, that maybe that hindrance are there, that mentality is there at the top itself, and at all levels of the industry. People feel that their jobs will go away with this. Now, with the present generation, Gen Z generation, and so without computer, you cannot bring them into the industry at all. So obviously, the digitalization is going to take leaps and bounds from here onwards, especially with the new techniques that are available. So one should take all these things and go hand in hand along with the conventional methodology.
Yeah, right. But tell me, Rajesh, if somebody is asking, if I am a customer and if I ask you what is my ROI, am I not justified? I want to know, no? Without that, how can I go ahead? Why should I go ahead? Are you guys able to give any commitment on ROI? If not, then
No.
sorry.
In that, I am taking the shield of Mr. Raja, what he has told, like safety. You cannot put up
even safety. I wanted to tell Mr. Raja, even safety, you can count number of accidents, no? There is some tangibility. There has to be some tangibility to the whole thing. Otherwise, how can I get funding from the banks also? If there is no.
Can I interfere, sir? Can I interfere? Yeah. Sir, two things in this. One is
just a minute, Mr. Raja, just a minute. Let us have view from Mr. Mike, and then we all will discuss. Mr. Mike, please come in and share your experience in the European continent.
Yes, I think we've already stated that upper management have to be convinced of the advantage of the digitalization. Often this has to be the return on investment. We have to show how they can make more money, how they can save money and improve their profits. Other advantages as well can be stated, but often it will come down to the bottom line. In our industry, what I think we've seen is that with digitalization, communications have improved so much in recent years. We are now able to access our systems in India or in other parts of the world directly from our factory in Dresden. And during the pandemic, we actually commissioned systems without sending engineers to site. So we've been able to remotely access equipment and give our customers much better service by directly interfacing with the systems. And this is the sort of thing that upper management of companies will be looking for. They want to see the advantages of digitalization, and they need some convincing about this in all aspects, not just the return on investment, but things like safety, things like efficiency, things like less downtime, this kind of thing. This is what will help to encourage more digitalization in industry.
Thank you. Yeah, but even if you talk about efficiency, it can be measured in terms of at some point, no, some increase in profits or some decrease in the costing or cost or something. So increase in efficiency also can be made tangible, no? Dr. Rajesh, what do you mean by efficiency? It cannot be just hawa, yeah. Come on.
No. The thing is, everything is, see, once you are able to measure accurately.
Yeah.
And once you are able to measure accurately, once it is visualized in front of your eyes, you can control effectively. Once you have done that control effectively, your efficiency automatically improves.
Yeah, that's what. But you have to measure somewhere. That increase in the efficiency, you have to be able to measure somewhere at some parameter. Mr. Raja.
Yeah, see, what I meant by ROI is that generally, if it is a commercial automation or something like that, if the ROI is between 24 to 36 months, for a digital process, they can shift it to 48 to 60 months or so. Because 2-3 things, sir. One is the digitalization is making you future ready. You will not become obsolete, right? That is one point. It is we have to consider. Second thing is that sometimes the customer is going to insist on that. It is not our choice. The customer wants a insistence, right? So whether you are interested or not to be in the industry or to get the LCs through, I have to, oblige with some conditions. मेरा मर्जी नहीं है उसमें. This is the second point. Third point is not all benefits are tangible, right? And in one of my interactions in a group meeting, some manager from the plant manager was telling me, आगे आदमी नहीं मिलेगा, सब मिलने से आपको ROI. See, when human beings are available to work in a smelter plant, then I can talk about return on investment compared with human beings. अभी आगे 5 साल में after this set of people retire, no second generation people are going to come into a smelter industry. तब क्या करने वाले हैं? So we are having multiple factors influencing the decisions, but unfortunately the decision making, particularly in the top level, as Dr. Rajesh was telling, the top level people, some of them are still having the conventional thought process. ठीक है, सबको एक ही स्केल में मेजर करना. For everything and anything we talk about as a policy, ROI 36 month का अंदर आना. By the time you implement and all the people learn it, it will take 1 year. Right. By the time I think Rajesh ji will accept this factor, we educate them and literate to make them literate on the digital areas and train them itself will take 1 year. अभी 2 साल का अंदर खाली 3 साल में उनका as a policy they want to have a return on investment within 36 months. So 2 साल बाकी है, 2 साल का अंदर कैसे होता है? So certain flexibilities they have to take. I think a lot of development is happening, but still I think it has to be further moved. Right. This is what is my opinion. Sir, you are on mute, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so. Yeah, I get it. Rajesh, you have to tell. You have to say something.
Yes, sir. The mindset has been changed over the period of time. This is what we are observing from the people. Like I'm participating in Steel Metal Expo from 2017 onwards, at least it's not wrong. In the 6 years down the line, there is many changes happened across the world. We had seen this. We started the digitalization. It's a fancy item at that point of time in 2017, and during the COVID era, it is the absolute necessity. And now in 2023, with this introduction of GenAI into the picture, there are a lot of things going to happen in that particular domain. And parallelly, there are the development phase, what we are seeing, that like a simple example, like India took 65 years to reach to the 2 trillion economy, and only 10 years for the next $2 trillion to be added to the economy. So that with that pace, if you want to move, if economy is moving, you also need to move in that pace. So automatically, you need to imbibe all the technologies available, take it, own it, and then implement it at your place so that you can take the fast forward advantage in the run. And this change we are seeing in the industry. So we are getting calls from the industry to implement the system by their own. There is no hard selling is not required at this point of time, at least.
Yeah.
This is my observation.
You're right. I agree with you.
Yeah, Mr. Mike.
Yes, I think there is. We also one thing we have to consider is the customers. The customers are asking for more and more information about what they are buying, and more specific information. And the only way to really provide this, particularly for things like the automobile industry, is to have digital storage of everything that is being produced, and to make this available to the customers. Because if you don't, somebody else will.
Yeah. Okay. See, one of the thoughts which comes to my mind, we are in a country like India where we have a lot of population. So is it that some people argue that over digitalization or too much of digitalization will create unemployment, will increase unemployment? So how do we respond as digitalization professionals How do you respond to this argument? In Europe, maybe that is not a problem. Europe's population is decreasing, and maybe digitalization is a way forward, natural way forward for Europe. But
there is still great reluctance, and there's still very people are very nervous about this.
So,
because,
how do you respond to
traditional-
this argument, Raja? How do you respond?
Can I respond to that, sir?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You
See, I
order, we
remember.
have to respond.
Yeah, I remember during our younger days, we used to, receive the resistance from the trade unions for computerization in banks. Right. The main 3 points they used to put is that it will snatch away the employment. Second thing is that computerization is a way of taking information. Like that, they had some 3 points. All 3 points are proven wrong because at that time, State Bank of India was having 6,000 branches. Probably now it is 30,000 branches. Right. So at that time, entire bankers' employment, maybe 1 lakh people today, maybe 1 million people, all are computer savvy. Right. And if you remove computer or drop down computer for 1 hour, entire system stops. Nobody now asks for manual things.
Those days were different.
Technology, any technology actually is resisted. That's a natural phenomenon. But here, what I feel is, you are going to be future ready. It is not that you are actually taking a master lead and you are a ustad. Aisa kuch nahi hai. Otherwise, you will become obsolete. You will be thrown out one day if you are not going to be digitalized. Probably some companies are 1 step ahead or 2 steps ahead. But it becomes a compulsion. Without a cell phone, how do you live now? It is like that. I feel that way, sir.
Yeah. Dr. Rajesh?
Yeah, I'll add to Raja's point on this. Definitely it is. Like, you need to think from the global perspective. Now, from the global perspective is beyond Earth. That is, see, we are already reaching to the Mars. So there is no depth of market for anyone, or no depth of, suppose if 100 crore, India when got independence is having around 30 crore population, and today, say after this many number of years, we are at 140 crore, and we are able to feed, we are able to cater to all the requirements, and things go beyond this level to the next, say, global scale level. Maybe the entire world population also I might have grown like this. So we are, in this evolutionary phases, all these new technologies, if people are not adopting, so we cannot run with say the wars cannot be fight with that. With the present day warfare is all about drones and other things. Sitting over here, destroying the thing, not having a big battle tank. Correct. The recent was what we are seeing in Ukraine, Ukraine versus Russia, or even this Hamas, Israel war, what we are seeing over there. We are looking more and more, they are fighting on the technology rather than any other front, on the physical front.
I understand.
So in the similar aspect, that one is what? The other one is for the developmental aspect. The development also should go in that way only. If you resist me, you are going to go the next coming years. You cannot survive in the market. So that.
Mike, what is your reaction? You say the European companies are still reluctant. Why?
Not so much the companies, but often the workforce is reluctant, and there will be some resistance from unions and this kind of thing. Not just in the steel industry, but other industry. You're seeing it a lot on, for example, the rail industry at the moment, where they are introducing automatic ticketing and this kind of thing, and the unions are resisting this as because they are seeing their members will be losing jobs. But to be honest, as we were talking about future-proofing, Mr. Raja was talking about future-proofing systems. It's not really a choice. You have to adapt to the new technology because it's not going away, and it is a case of how you deal with it, not whether you deal with it or not. You have to find a way to deal with it.
We have to find a way to deal with it. Do you see any change in the response from the companies in Europe in the last few years? Is it increasing? The response is encouraging, increasing, or it is stagnant, stable?
No, I'd say it's increasing. It's increasing. More and more companies are implementing things like big data, and they are using digitalization more in their communications around the factories, more robotics and other things to improve the efficiency, also improve the safety. Many of the dangerous jobs are disappearing, if you like. They need less people to do it. They are getting robots to do it. So it's being accepted, in some cases quite reluctantly, and in some cases it's quite a battle with the workforce and with society in general. But it is happening. It is definitely happening, and you can see it happening more and more in everyday items as well as industry.
Okay. How has been our experience in India, Dr. Rajesh and Mr. Raja? Rajesh, what do you think?
Yeah, we are seeing that. That's what I'm saying, sir. The industries, the top management, they here also I'm not seeing any resistance towards the digitalization as any of the industry in India is concerned. In fact, the technology adoption is quicker, faster in India compared to the Western world. Like the UPI systems, UPI, the most successful thing, or the change dramatically. Yeah. So
because it is easy to operate. See, one of the reasons it is easy to operate. Digitalization is not that easy. One has to learn, no? One has to learn new skill set.
I'll add a point.
Everybody has to learn new skill sets.
Right? Imagine a system like this.
Imagine
like a system like this. When say UPI is connected and a service or a product has been purchased from a vendor, all got digitalized. So entire consumption pattern got digitalized. Now, which is to be produced, what is to be produced, the data analytics part comes into picture, and that data, if you are able to capture and throw that one, so there is no scarcity, or there is no, you can control the inflationary trends also if you put it that way.
Yeah, I agree. Yes. Raja, what?
Yeah, see, my experience is that we are having one sludge cleaning robot where we deploy the robot underwater, and it moves around. We operate it with the joystick from outside. It pumps out the sludge. Our experience is so good that even the industries have started enjoying it so much, because without taking a plant shutdown, right, and without taking the water pumping out, because huge quantities of water, 5 lakh cubic meter, this, that, and all. Some of the talabs are 100 meter by 40 meter by 6 meters. So such big things, when it is happening, they started by telling that human beings, it will happen with this money. Why you are expensive, this, that, and all. Now that question does not come at all. The resistance has literally vanished because of two things, sir. One is the comfort level. Another is the judicial intervention and all. See, 1 or 2 accidents, right, in such massive factories, really, puts everyone back. And there are a lot of judicial things, and these people have to undergo a lot of procedural things after the accident. So it is being strictly enforced. That is one major deterrent for these people to not to go with the conventional methods. So they are almost in a way almost pushed towards the digitalization or modern machines or automation side.
Yes,
this is what I feel.
That there are distinct advantages. Yeah. Like, you have underwater services and all. There are drones which are available now for inspection of very
vertical towers. Tall buildings, vertical tower inspections.
Even in a hazardous environment, that drone can inspect. So all these things are there. I do agree that there are distinct advantages for digitalization. And see, conventionally, we had, the definition of digitalization. If one asks me, I would say a few years back that connecting the machines, making machines talking to each other, and making the whole process chain integrated. Like at one end, it talks to the supplier, and at other end, it also talks to the customers. So that integrated supply chain and intermediate machines talking to each other would make digitalization. That was the conventional definition of digitalization. Now, from here, where do we go? What is now? I hear a lot of things, AI, VI, that augmented reality and what not. So what else is happening in the umbrella of digitalization? Can you people throw some light? And where do we go from here? Starting with Raja, but I would like to have really good, detailed, your take on this. This is the most
Yeah,
important
see,
question which
let me put it this way,
you
sir.
guys.
Actually, yeah. See, we are talking about, say, vision system or artificial intelligence, something like that. See, there is an object earlier. I mean, 5 years back, automation means you just pick up the object, right? Now, what happens if the object is slightly this way or that way? There will be a flashing camera just before it picks up, and it identifies, right? If it moves accordingly. So the last moment change intelligence we are adding to the machine. Earlier, now I'm from actually my earlier company is from telematics. I have a telematics company, big company, and I was working on garmenting system. So I was making 5,000 t-shirts per day, right? So I know what is the change today and what was that earlier. As an serial entrepreneur, I have been into entrepreneurship. So what happens when you are going with the futuristic things? We have to be predictive. Suppose there are accidents happening or product failures. If the thickness of the sheet, particularly if you are making a sheet, if the thickness has been varying, earlier it was varying, we were controlling. Now we'll plot the pattern of variation and we will try to predict it, what is going to happen down the line, how to prevent it. So we are talking about prediction through the analytics and preventing steps. Earlier, it is only informing the management, I saw right. If the thickness of 1 mm plate is becoming 1.2, there will be alarm and the machine will be stopped. That's all. So now, current stage में, that automation से एक step आगे बढ़ रहे हैं हम लोग. So how to prevent it and what were the possibilities earlier? What were the 10 years or 5 years track? History
But
of
this
this
is level 3 automation, no? What you're talking is level 3 automation.
No, we are talking
Giving
about
feedback to
prediction.
giving feedback to the machine and changing the speed or something like that. That is level 3 automation.
That is a level 3 one. What I am telling is predictive in nature. Suppose you are analyzing the data, collecting all the data, and I am able to predict what is going to happen.
Okay.
So that will be the AI, whatever we are talking about. The intelligence will be used towards that. What is going to happen in future? So that will be one important aspect. So this is what I feel that. And the virtual realities and other thing people are talking, it's more of a demonstrable thing, right? Before making a prototype, we can have a virtual prototype, because what is happening today is that to see a machine working, we have to invest some, really physically we have to make a machine. That was the earlier
Now
era.
we can do simulation. I
Now
agree.
we can see virtually and we can give to the team, decision-making team, they can correct it also. Ye vaisa nahi hai, vaisa karna, something like that. So the iteration process is reduced.
Yes.
So that way we can do the right thing in the first go. That is what I think the current digitalization is happening. I mean, AI may. That is what is happening in AI.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Rajesh, what is your
No,
take
sir.
on the future?
In fact, we reach it to the third generation of the AI itself, as I am telling you clearly. This machine learning prediction and optimization is in the 2010. 2010 to 2020 is the second deep learning, vision and speech analytics. Third, now 2020 onwards, introduction of, you might have seen the ChatGPT. ChatGPT is one of the form of this generative AI. So mission in ChatGPT or generative AI, what it is happening, mission already understood what is to be done. So it is already giving you, see, if you write that, I submit my CV in this fashion, giving only basic data. In a fraction of seconds, ChatGPT will give you the complete statistics. Now, you extrapolate that one to your equipment. Earlier, say, suppose a mud gun for a blast furnace, I'm taking a simple reference. People used to manually load the machine. Still now it is happening. It is not in the thing. Manually it is getting loaded. So now with the introduction, how the industry is going to change with the implementation of digitalization with respect to the tap hole mud gun case I'm referring to. The mud gun is getting connected to the computers inside. So what is the charge going inside the blast furnace, what is the reactions inside going the blast furnace, what is the earth level that is there inside the blast furnace. Everything is getting fed, so the information is fed to the machine now. So machine knows that in the next 30 minutes time, the earth is going to be emptied and blowing out is going to be started. So I should be ready to close the tap hole. So once the closing the tap hole, the 20 minutes duration, we will take out the mud gun out so that the setting time is over and then refilling activity is to be done. Now we make that particular machine more intelligent using this generative AI technique. So this is the evolutionary pattern, the manual loading. So they say, okay, computer we have already done that one. Machine prediction, something is done in that phase. Now it is reached to this level. It has seen that tap hole condition. It has seen that one. Accordingly, it adjusts its front face, nose, and then closes the tap hole.
Okay.
So in the next 10 years down the line, it may suggest us, no, whatever the design, what you had given me is having this much diameter and this much hollowness is there, which is insufficient to me to control this. Give me parameters like this. If machine tells you to do the design accordingly, think about that. This is the future.
Okay.
So humans are getting extra support for the actual things to be done using the generative AI technique.
Yes.
So that generative AI is going to be imbibed in everywhere.
Right. You are right, Rajesh. I see now the gadgets on the human body in a factory worker have increased so much, right from the camera here and what safety gadgets and all that. So he looks like an astronaut now.
Imagine that they are having brain and doing the activity. So that is the level which we are going towards that.
Yeah.
We are making them that one.
Mike, what is your experience? What do you think about where are we heading?
Yeah, I think what Mr. Raja was saying was quite good, correct. The previously, if the end product, from example for a steel factory, had an issue, then you had to trace it back through the various processes to find out what had gone wrong, where the problem was. I think now with the systems becoming more integrated with each other and providing more information, it will become very obvious, hopefully before the product is finished, where the problems are coming, and you can predict what is happening, where there will be a problem, and take care of it before it becomes a big issue. The other thing I can see happening going forward is that the machines will become more intelligent and will inform the staff in the factories where the problems are coming, when they can monitor themselves and predict if they need some maintenance, give some feedback to the maintenance staff and tell them what is happening, what needs changing, and in case of a problem, they can give more information about what is happening, which may lead to that you don't need such specialist engineers in the factory. You can have more general engineering, and the machines will tell the engineers what is wrong, what needs to be fixed, or what needs to be adjusted.
Yeah, thanks for your feedback. Actually, please go ahead.
I have a small point, my experience to add in this. Mr. Rajesh was mentioning about the AI, how it helps people do that. We gave a device to ready mix concrete machines. You must have seen the transit mixers going in the street, in the highways. They have an inherent weakness of not more than 2. I mean, beyond 2 hours, it becomes unusable, the concrete. The flow changes. So our machine predicts the flow and accordingly pumps in the chemicals while the machine is in transit. So the entire ready-mix concrete can be run up to 12 hours, it will be useful. And the amount of chemical, the density change, everything is available to the R&D department online. So they can work on the process also, they can work on the mixing, raw metal ratio. Now what they do generally to avoid the weakening of the strength, they prepare a high strength concrete so that in the dumping area, it will be reaching a normalcy. So we are unnecessarily giving a extra raw material and we are using a sweetener mix to reach that kilogram or whatever strength. Right. So these small devices, is going to change the entire profile of the country And even, one of the drivers told me that I want this vehicle only, sir, because that is fitted with this device. For him, there is no need for chipping the inner. Sometimes it is setting inside the drum, and it becomes a tedious task for him to chip it out. Right? It's costly also. So they started adapting, even illiterate started adapting these technologies because it is benefiting them so much. Right. The resistance is the initial resistance, but afterwards, once they start enjoying the technology, I think everyone would like to adapt it. So we feel that 10 years down the line, the country, I mean, the entire industry will be totally different. Right? Everyone will be like astronaut only, including ourselves. We will have several gadgets on us. ऐसा लग रहा है.
The workflow is being changed. Like the industrial worker, what we had seen in the past is not going to be the same, first of all.
You are absolutely right, sir.
Yeah. So the skill set required for the next 10 years, 20 years down the line, it's completely different.
Yeah, it's
Like a housemaid without a washing machine, she won't come. Right? Earlier days were not there. घर में तो washing machine है क्या सब पूछ के आता है ना. So
actually when we were studying
without
yeah, I'll tell you, when we were studying metallurgy in the college, we were thinking as long as iron carbon diagram doesn't change, we don't have to learn anything new. But but it is not so. Now the skill set required for the future operations in the factory is totally different and totally demanding and quite difficult. So I think yeah, but generally as Mike said, in his talk that he is having he's quite happy about the increased response from the customers. European industry is now taking up digitalization in a positive way. I think Indian industry has also learned to take first of all take the digitalization seriously. It is not a hype. It is not a buzzword. It is not it is not a fashion anymore. It is a requirement. It is a requirement need of the hour. That is what now people have started understanding. And I feel, in coming years also, a lot of aspects. There are two aspects how to look at digitalization. I think Dr. Rajesh, your company looks at it in a holistic manner. So you are trying to provide something like IMAP or something, the holistic solution for the digitalization process. Whereas EMG or JNU, they are trying to catch these small areas like underwater. You have done that expertise, or robotics is one area which you are capturing. Similarly, EMG is also capturing some areas under the umbrella of digitalization and making the whole that thing smarter or smart. So there are many ways to approach digitalization, isn't it? How can one approach? I mean, if I'm a company, I say I go for digitalization. What do I do? Who tells me?
Sir, I
How
feel
do I
that
get prepared for digitalization? How do I know what digitalization is required for me?
It's like oxygen जैसे हो गया, sir. It is required, but where from you start? That is the question.
Yeah, that is individual,
Yes.
because individual.
You will become obsolete, sir. Otherwise, no. One of my CEOs was telling when his company was having 10 years order book, I asked him in one seminar, why do you modernize? Why do you automate? Because your requirement is not there. आपका तो 10 साल का order है, right? He told, I want to be future ready. Simple. Otherwise, I will become obsolete overnight. So it is digitalization is it is an essential part. It's no more an optional thing or a luxury. But where from you start? Which department say chalu karna? Right? Whether it is from the actual information IoT devices.
It is possible to do it in a modular way. It is possible to do it in a modular way.
Yes.
Rajesh, what is your experience? What is your advice to the new companies?
Yes, sir. It is like this. When every company is having a vision and it's a mission statement, and there are several departments associated to execute, to reach to that vision and visionary thing, right? So in the same manner, digitalization department, maybe the names may be different in each individual section. Maybe there's improvement or new things or something they will put it. But the idea is You need to start somewhere in the industry, first of all. So a separate department needs to be floated. First of all, top management should have the thing, the motive that in the next 5 years, my company, every aspect of my company is getting digitalized. Everything I can monitor on my screen, I can see that, and I can take the control actions over there. So that particular set to be there.
And why should I do that? And why should I do that? Every department, every activity, why should I digitalize?
That's what it is. If you want to be
It's not fashion, no, it is something.
It is not fashion right now. That's what I'm telling to you. Over a period of time, in the next 10 years, what is this generative AI is going to change your life drastically. We need to go along with the other things that are moving around us. We cannot be isolated and we can move in the same fashion what we are doing 20, 30 years back. So the new techniques, if you are adopting, you are the first comer. So that what are the new techniques and what is to be done for that? So even from the worker, industrial worker perspective, the skill set what you are imbibing in, the engineers whom you are recruiting in. Suppose a steel plant, as Mike said, there is generalist is enough. Now there is no specialization. Okay, that statement is to be little bit modified. Generalist is enough, but who is having a thorough knowledge about what they are doing inside that particular plant. Suppose a steel plant is doing. So without metallurgy, mechanical, electrical, the core branches, we cannot run the industry. But unfortunate thing is the scenario is so many colleges are taking out those core branches out. And all are putting in computer science engineers into the picture. So the computer science engineers, they themselves need to try further. First of all, they are core computer science students. They know the metallurgical aspects also. They know the chemical aspects also. They know the mechanical aspects also. Some minors they need to do. Major is computer science, minor is all these sub branches. Now, once this knowledge base is created, once this department is created with that certain knowledge base, so equipment by equipment, department by department, then the whole industry needs to move towards the digitalization. This is to be taken in a phased manner. So wherever the manual interventions are there, sensors need to be put in. From sensors to IIoT to be connected. IIoT to that is to be connected to the integrated the cloud platforms. So this is the way one needs to have a long-term vision, say 3 years or the 5 year down the plan, and then needs to bring in digitalization into the industry. There will be a roadmap for them.
I said. Mike, you have been operating in Europe. You have experience of operating in China also and India also. How would you compare these three markets? So, I mean, you can answer this question.
Yeah. Europe is very varied, based on country to country. Some countries are more adept and willing to embrace it. It's not really a choice as far as I can see, because as the new technology becomes available, old technology becomes obsolete. So it will be almost an organic process that companies will become digitalized because of the equipment they're using. China, yes, very cutting edge technologies, very adapting all over the place, all kinds of, not just in the steel industry, but in day-to-day life as well. And from what I see in India as well, is very, there's a lot of newer equipment going in Europe. There's a lot of older equipment that's still being used and still being upgraded. Whereas in China and India, there's a lot of new equipment going in, which is obviously going to have elements of digitalization in it. And I think this is the way things will progress. We'll be upgrading equipment in Europe, and the new equipment will be in China and India.
If Europe is in 2023, what year China is in and what year India is in?
China is probably, it's hard to say. I think in some aspects.
So China is on in 2023, and what about India?
I'd say not far behind from what I have seen. India is very close. The new equipment that I've been seen putting in, the capability of the engineers in India is very, very close. China likes to think there's a big
as markets, how prepared are the markets? From that respect, I'm asking.
Not
from the expertise. We know we have a lot of expertise.
Yeah, sure. In China, they seem to be very accepting of the digital technology. As an example, it's very hard these days to spend cash in China. Everything is done by phone. Everything is done by phone. If you buy something in the shop, you pay by phone. It's very hard to use cash. And this is not the case in Europe. I'm not sure in India, maybe also not the case, but certainly they are embracing new technology at a breakneck speed. It's incredible how fast they are embracing it. Maybe in some cases too much, you know. Big data is available for all kinds of things, and the information is available, all sorts of information. There is some reluctance to this in Europe. People don't like to have their personal too much about them available. It's too much information about them available. So there's a little bit of reluctance to this. In China, it's much more open, shall we say? The information is more open to certain authorities, shall we say?
Yeah, Raja, Dr. Rajesh, what are your views on this? How are we placed? Europe, China, India, with respect to the markets on digitalization, with respect to the acceptance of digitalization.
Yeah, I can say it this way, because if you say with the population age bracket we are in, India is the youngest nation compared to even China in that aspect. So the adoption of new technology and new things are much more faster to India. Okay, China, because of its sheer size and the economy size and whatever the production size, they are little bit ahead of the technology front. But as far as new adoption is concerned, India is fast catching up China compared to any other country.
Raja, what is your experience?
See, as a marketing person, I have been into marketing or visiting customers for almost 30 years, right? As an entrepreneur or something. So normally basic marketing call will say that 10% success to acha hai.
Okay.
That's client एक तो convert हो गया, conversion rate बोलते हैं. So now, after being a mentor in IIT, and now again I'm picking up the basics to sell the digitalization or the robotics to the industries. I meet many CEOs and the chairman level people. I feel that my marketing call is 100 out of 100. Right? That itself is an indicator that everyone wants a change. Everyone wants to grow. Yes. Yeah. I visit 10 clients, all 10 clients become my customers. Right. So that it gives an indication that everyone is interested in growing with an affordable cost. Right. Yeah. When imported technology is coming, they are literally scared. One is the cost, another thing is the service. So when you are telling we are just now available to you from here and giving this hot metal sample, I can collect and give you, or wherever molten metal carrying, I can do it with my remotely operated vehicle. See, every client has become, every visit has given me a commercial visiting order. So that way I see, my order books also are too good presently. Whatever balance sheet I have got this year, I have that much of order book for the coming year. So we are really, upbeat in that. And we have taken, based on some of the machines, what we have done here, we have some export orders also to Europe. So I feel people have started looking at it. And it is not, it is in the, I can't say that it is in the crawling stage or it has come to the better level. I see so. Mera soch hai, mera experience hai.
But that's very encouraging, Raja. What has been your experience, Dr. Rajesh?
Yes, sir. That's what I'm saying. It is like there are more cycles now in the market compared to any years in the past. People had seen the advantage in the COVID. COVID has taught us that how the digitalization can be effectively utilized.
So you are also very optimistic about the markets.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes,
future markets. Yeah, Mike, what is your experience in India?
Yes,
Your specific experience in India and specific expectations from India.
Yeah. Yeah, we're expecting, expecting a lot of business from India going forward. I think there's a lot of potential for future business, and this will embrace the latest equipment. So I think the Indian steel industry will be very modern and very efficient going forward, and I think this will be very good for the Indian customers and for the Indian producers.
Okay, so I think let's close on this note. Everybody is quite positive about the future of digitalization in India in general and steel industry in particular. So the fact that our digital shows are also growing in
Yeah.
it also shows the interest and the seriousness of people in the process of digitalization. So I thank all the three participants, Mr. Raja, Dr. Rajesh, and Mr. Mike, for your insightful inputs in this subject. And I wish all the three a very best of luck for your future endeavors, because you are all are the flag holders of the digitalization for the industry. So let your company grow so the digitalization process fastens in the industry. So as Mike said, the whole thing, the companies and the whole operations will be digitalized in some in few years from now. So thank you very much. We had a very great discussion. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thanks for
Thank you very much.
this.